It was the hottest June in 20 years. Our small Arizona suburb was baking under relentless sun, and water restrictions were understandably tight. Everyone was trying to do their part. Everyone, except for one woman, Karen Fitzpatrick, the president of our homeowners association. While the rest of us carefully rationed our water usage, Karen's lawn remained suspiciously emerald green. Sprinklers clicked on like clockwork, twice a day. Her hydrangeas practically glowed. Meanwhile, my front lawn looked like scorched earth. So when I received a violation letter for using my drip irrigation system for unauthorized watering, I was furious, especially when I spotted Karen across the street, smiling smugly as her water jets danced in the heat. The letter cited a new HOA policy. No exterior watering systems permitted during peak heat hours, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. It was signed by Karen and backdated by a week. I hadn't seen any notice. Neither had my neighbors, so I started asking around. Turns out Karen had called a special emergency session of the HOA board. Only 2 other members had attended, both close friends of hers. They rubber-stamped the policy and sent out 0 notifications. The kicker? The HOA bylaws required 72 hours notice and community-wide communication before any rule could be enacted. This was rulebook theater, all for control. I kept my system off, but the next week I got another warning. Failure to remove irrigation hardware will result in fines. My neighbor Cheryl got the same letter. She has a cactus garden. The HOA accused her of using misting systems to simulate moisture fraud. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just about water. Karen had declared war. I began documenting Karen's watering schedule. I recorded timestamps, took photos, and even borrowed my nephew's drone to get overhead shots. Turns out, Karen's property was connected to an old, unused sprinkler system meant for a defunct HOA community garden. It was never decommissioned. She had quietly rerouted it through her lawn. Free water. She wasn't paying a dime. I took my evidence to the city water department. At first, the clerk barely looked up, but once he saw the photos of the community garden valve connected to her pipes, his eyebrows jumped. He typed in her address. "Huh," he said. "This account shows 0 usage from that outlet, but it's active." 2 days later, a city inspector showed up at her house. Karen, flustered, tried to block him, but they had a warrant. By sundown, her green paradise was a taped-off investigation site. I should have known she wouldn't take it lying down. That night, I found 3 HOA citations taped to my door. Unapproved drone usage, unauthorized investigation of board members, inciting division in the community. The fine total? $1,500. Cheryl got hit with $800 for verbal misconduct because she tweeted, "Queen Karen is hoarding water like a lizard queen." I contacted a HOA attorney. He almost laughed when he read the citations. "These aren't fines, they're tantrums. You have enough here to not only appeal, but launch a counterclaim for abuse of authority." That's when the plan took shape. Section 8. Building the paper trail. I filed a formal complaint with the HOA Oversight Board. I submitted all documentation of Karen's water usage, video recordings of sprinkler use, the drone footage, which, by the way, is legal in our city, if not over private airspace, her emergency meeting minutes, which violated procedure. Each submission had footnotes, appendices, and water usage charts. It was a paperwork tsunami. 3 other neighbors joined in. We submitted a request for a formal audit of HOA leadership practices. The Oversight Board responded in 4 days. They would send a state mediator and a compliance officer. Karen tried to block it. She failed. At the emergency community meeting, Karen walked in like a disgraced queen. People were already whispering. The compliance officer laid it all out. Misuse of city resources, conflict of interest, failure to follow procedural rules, and abuse of power. When Karen tried to explain, someone in the crowd shouted, "Then why is your lawn still greener than the golf course?" We needed a 2/3 vote to remove her as president. The count? 78 in favor, 3 opposed. She was officially stripped of title and power, but the real revenge was still coming. With Karen ousted, our legal team, funded by voluntary neighborhood donations, filed a civil case against her for misuse of HOA funds and fraudulent citations. Turns out she'd used HOA money to install her illegal water rerouting system and to print those bogus citation letters. She was ordered to pay back $9,200. And every neighbor fined under her reign, reimbursed. With the new president, I installed a xeriscape garden, native plants, low water use, and an HOA approved. The HOA even highlighted it in their newsletter as a model yard. Tank, my bulldog, loves sunbathing among the desert flowers. I kept my old irrigation system too, just in case. The city sealed off her illegal system. Now her lawn matches the rest of ours. Dusty beige. She tried to buy water rights from a neighbor. Nobody would sell. She eventually moved. Rumor has it she tried to start a new HOA in a town 20 miles away. It didn't last. When it's 110 degrees and rising, you find out what people are made of. Karen was made of control and ego. But the neighborhood? We were made of grit, paperwork, and a little bit of revenge. Subscribe to DD Stories for more tales where petty power meets poetic justice.